And Dr. Snigdha. That was very informative. I'm Beena Bhatia, and I'm a clinical dietitian and nutritionist, and I also have my base, so my roots, dedicated with nature, and that is how I'm associated with Ayurveda. I'm basically going to be covering the same stuff, but since I was going to be talking on a global platform where you're coming from various countries, I will try to make this same stuff that you have heard a little more interactive. Is everybody okay with that? Can you? Let's start with the miracle of life. Okay. Um, Archaeologists and scientists are continuously battling who is the most miraculous of life itself. It's the man, right? Is there anything more miraculous than man? No. Well, man as in the human species. It is said that the only species that is capable of smiling is the human. Did anybody think about that? That's what our Vedas tell us. Okay, let's go back to that. Lord Brahma in Indian mythology, he's supposed to be the creator, the god of creation. And the Vedas are dating back more than 5,000 years ago. So something that's prevalent since 5,000 years, do you think it could be a wrong system? It's in fact more in existence today and acceptable. I will show you slowly, slide by slide, how. The scientists explain man and his universe in evolutionary terms. How did it come? The meteor crashed and this happened and that happened. However, Ayurveda talks about man coming from the 5 elements of nature. Does anybody understand or know already what are the 5 elements? Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. We have earth, fire, water, wind, and space, ether. Okay? So that is the 5 elements of nature. We'll talk about it. Now, again, Ayurveda. Veda is the scriptures of knowledge. It's abundance of knowledge. And I, in my experience, have not found one single thing that we know today, after so many years, that is not mentioned in any of those Vedas. Okay? Ayur in Hindi or Sanskrit, we say Ayushya. So those of you who are Indians, we say, Aapki Ayu kitni hai? What's your age? Okay? Ayur means life. Okay? So that is why life or lifespan, because you're not living for that one moment. You're living, each one has a preordained span of life. So the knowledge that covers the span of life, that is Ayurveda. So is that clear now? Am I too fast for anyone? Are you able to understand what is Ayurveda? Because when somebody asks you to talk on Ayurveda and holistic well-being, you should know what is Ayurveda, what is holistic, what is well-being in terms of the Ayurvedic. Okay. Next. Now, what is health? What is health? It's a perfect equilibrium. Yes. If there is something that's missing, are you healthy? Right. So the perfect functioning or the optimum functioning of a body without evidence of disease or disability is the definition of health. Does everybody agree with that? Okay. Now, if there are disturbances or imbalances of the material qualities present in the body, they will alter the functions, and so they will cause you a disease. Now, these are the doshas. What you have been hearing the doctors talking about doshas. Does anybody know what is the meaning of doshas? Like we have the vitreous humors, we have certain elements in our body. Let me explain to you in a more simple way. Dosha in Hindi means imperfection or fault. Okay? So anything that is faulty inside, let's say if you have a machine and if one little part goes haywire, what happens? Okay? Let's say you're the human body and one little mosquito bites you, you may be 6 feet and 8 inches tall and you'll be immobilized. All right? So that's what imperfection starts with, a little bit of something going here. How many of you experienced getting a pimple? It's such a tiny, minuscule little thing, but how inconvenient it is, right? And that is also one of the examples of a little imbalance. Either an oily skin, it's got too oily, or something that you ate and you say, oh, you know, I eat this thing and then I break into pimples. Don't we often say that? Now, this is exactly the example of what is a dosha. Okay? So when you understand the word dosha or the meaning of the word dosha, then we will understand, and let's take it step by step. Okay? So modern medicine, like Dr. Gautam said, the World Health Organization accepted what Ayurveda said, that holistic means a comprehensive health which is physical, mental, spiritual, social well-being, and not just an absence of disease. Okay? And where does the Prakriti or the 5 elements of nature, when we had these old yogis, you know, you must have heard of the Indian rishis and stuff like that. These old sages and seers who lived in penance on the Himalayas and they were in their meditative state, they had only nature around them. So when people fell sick, they used the herbs that was available and they made connotations and they healed. And therefore, whatever knowledge they had, they put in a script called Ayurveda. Is everything clear now? Getting clear? Thank you. So again, Ayurveda is the oldest traditional healing system practiced in India and the most comprehensive in the world. Today, everybody wants to learn Ayurveda, wants to go for massage, yoga, meditation. Well, that's all about Ayurveda because Prakriti is linking body, mind, senses, and the soul, all 4. So harmony between all the 4 systems. So this is, we tend to identify most with our physical bodies. Is that right? You think you are your physical body, but no. Ayurveda was one step before. They found out and they told us that you're not merely your physical body. There's much more. You are just an encasement for your soul. So if you have a healthy soul, a healthy body, and what controls that? A healthy mind. And what controls the mind? Or what does the mind control? Senses. That's right. Okay? So are we getting familiar with what we are talking about in Ayurveda? Please raise your hands if I'm a little fast or if anything you need to ask. Sure. So another thing that they tell us, smell and taste are the 2 senses which help in aid the digestive process. Now we are talking about food. So obviously we are talking about the imbalances in the body. The core of imbalances will start with food and the digestive or the indigestion of food. Okay? So we are only going to deal with the 2 senses primarily with talk about digestion or indigestion. And those 2 are smell and taste. Okay. Let's assume somebody likes chocolates. Okay. And you keep giving that person only chocolates, chocolates, chocolates. What happens? That's right. So this is again something that Ayurveda tells us, that everything that you need to even eat should be balanced and in harmony. Excess of anything that you give to anybody, whether it's a cat or a mouse or rat or dog, you will have developed an aversion to that. So that is also a dosh. Okay, so have everything in balance. Next. So the Ayurvedic medicine, okay, now medicine is made like they have pointed out from the herbs, and he talked about ginger, cumin, asafoetida, turmeric. Okay, I believe you heard that, and that is something we are all familiar with. So I will not go into those detailed slides because it's pretty clear. I mean, everybody uses a little bit of herbs and spices. So let's not get into that. So you're using all those herbs and spices in combinations to harmonize that imbalance or the doshas. What are the imbalances called? Doshas, right. Faults. Okay. Imperfections. Okay, so we're going to go from the imperfection and see how we can balance it and get it normalized. So meditation, massage, cleansing therapies, what they have all been talking about, which you go to an Ayurveda spa, but those are external. What you eat and what is a reflection of the digestion is your internal metabolism, right? So we need both to be completely harmony. And Ayurvedic perspective, again at that time, shows you that it's not a one size fits all. Okay, it's completely individual. Okay, so you have to take your regimens and you have to tailor it to each person's individual prakriti or your own nature. Let's say there is a mother and she has twins. And they may not be fraternal twins, they may be identical twins. How many of them would be having exact taste, exact, attributions? They all have different traits, they have different likes, they have different dislikes. So they come from the same womb, the same environment, the same geographical surrounding, upbringing, everything. So that's how individual we are. We all have different fingerprints. We have our own identities, and again, that was recognized right from the Ayurvedic stage, and how close or how near we are to Prakriti and how we can stay, that denotes our state of overall holistic well-being. So now holistic well-being, does everybody now know the word of holistic? It's a complete whole. Holistic comes from the word whole. Okay, means the entire gamut. It's like a package. It's a combo package. All right? And in that, you have not just the sum of your individual parts, like your vata going out of balance or your pitta going out of balance. It's your entire persona. And when you have a problem or imbalance with your digestion, then holistic medicine will determine the root cause of that. What did you eat and what did it cause? So we will not eat that something, or we will eat something that balances that imbalance. So again, it's through food. Being a dietitian, food is my subject, so I'm going to deal a little more with food, because I believe that with food, you are anywhere in the world, you can help yourselves. A massage or these therapies or panchkarmas may not be very accessible to you in your everyday issues. So I will probably explain a little bit more about the diets. Okay. So now, even in those days, they had a nadi. You know, nadi means pulse. Even today, don't you have doctors taking your pulse? Right? So the nadi philosophy also started 5,000 years ago, and a very, very good Ayurvedologist today also will be able to tell your imbalance just by taking your pulse. Am I right? How many Indians know about it? Everyone. Okay. So again, we have talked about the five elements of nature, and all individuals have their own constituents of the five elements of nature. Okay? Next. So now your five elements in your environment, according to your geographical condition, your likes, your dislikes, how individual can it get? Like say, as a baby who is born, okay? Some mother will say, my baby takes the feed for 5 minutes. The baby is having only mama's milk, right? Nursing. Some will say, oh, my baby likes to eat for 10 minutes, drink milk for 10 minutes. So right from the time we are born, we have our own constitution, okay? That is completely your own. And now according to that, we develop our balance or imbalance. Now Sushruta is again the father of modern Ayurveda, and he identified the microcosmic dosha, the three natural forces, Vayu, Agni and Soma. And so, like I already told you, the imbalance of Vayu, which is air, Agni means this thing, and Soma is the cuff or the mucous membrane. We in India have grown up with these words, Vayu, Agni and all, but for you it's air.